Hello friends, it's Nancy from Astrology and Angel Mediums today with another tarot spread video, I guess we can call it. So this way you can have some different card spreads in your arsenal that I have used for different purposes over the years that I really have enjoyed. So I try to change up my setup a little bit, it's like in the 50s today, this morning. And I was feeling a little fallish. So I was like, oh, yes, we need to put out like some bones and make it all cute. So let me know what you guys think about that. So today I'm going to be doing the New Job Tarot spread, or you can use any kind of cards that you like to use. I think for spreads like this, it's very helpful to have a good connection with whatever deck that you're using. I'm going to just be talking and using the Learning Tarot cards, so it'll just make it a little bit easier for you guys watching to kind of see what comes up. So as I'm someone that works for themselves, and I have two different businesses, I'm not really looking for a new job. So I'm going to kind of just leave this open. But I am going to kind of go through the spread, show you how I would read the cards and kind of like what comes through for me. I may even just have the intention of focusing on like how this would go for one of my children, which they are looking for a different job at the current moment. So let's get into it. Let's talk about this spread and let's see what the cards have to say. I'm not going to say my kid's name, but I just kind of have that intention. Since, again, I'm not looking for a new job, so I'm good. All right, so let's get into it. Right. So this is a 4-card spread. And let's see what we have. All right, so 5-card spread, not 4-card spread. I can't count. All right, so the very first card is going to be, what do I need to know about applying for this job? As someone that has worked a lot of different jobs, I think it's kind of beneficial to kind of start off by asking that, because I know a lot of us, whenever we're looking for employment, it is out of necessity or out of like kind of feeling like we are ready to kind of step away from whatever it is that we've been doing. And so I think that this is good as a reminder to kind of ground our decision. So this is going to be, what do I need to know about applying for this job, is card number 1. So here we have the 10 of Swords reversed. And that's going to go down here. I may actually have to change my little setup. I was trying to make it all cute and the cards aren't even going to fit, or maybe I'll have to do a smaller deck, but okay. So card number 2 will be, what will working in this job be like? So here we have the 5 of Wands, and that'll go there. Yeah, I'm gonna have to change my setup. That's so rude. All right, so how capable am I of doing this job is card number 3. We have the 6 of Pentacles. Card number 4 will be, what will be the outcome for me of working in this job or role? So here we have the Magician. And then for card number 5, we have, what is the outcome of applying for this job? So here we have Death. Okay, so I'm gonna kind of like reset this up a little bit so you guys can see the cards. Okay, essentially this is how you'd want to lay out your cards. Again, you don't have to follow the actual spread like this. I just like to do it. I think it's fun. It changes up the vibe, I guess, in some ways. So let's talk about how I would read this spread. So again, card number 1 is going to be, what do I need to know about applying for this job? And here we have the 10 of Swords reversed, which is a card about escaping ruin, pulling yourself together, learning from past hardships, fears coming true. Now, I know the sword suit can be seen as a very negative, harsh, challenging, maybe even a suit that brings a lot of like hardships, a lot of conflict, a lot of like that mental, anxiety and things like that. And I like to look at the 10 of Swords as an opportunity to kind of move to the next thing. But with this being reversed, I would kind of look at it as maybe this is the decisions, or what's happening is really being, perhaps the decision is being made from a place of anxiety, or a place of, I'm not really sure, but I just really just need something to change. I need something different. But maybe you're not quite ready to let go of something that maybe feels a little bit more stabling, or even if you're just kind of like, I don't really like where I'm at, but at least I know what's happening there. At least I know what to expect with what is going on in my situation. And so I think that this is kind of saying, what do you need to know about applying for this job, is that maybe it's kind of putting the reflection back on yourself and kind of saying, hey, maybe you need to take some time out to kind of understand what it is that you are looking for, what you're putting yourself out there into, like, having a better understanding of, like, what is it that you're willing to do for the things that you are wanting to kind of get after, if that makes sense. And again, like I said, unfortunately, just due to how financial situations are set up during current life, a lot of us have to have some sort of income. Sometimes we need more than one income. And if you're someone that's like an individual, that may mean having to work multiple jobs, having to do multiple things. And so I think that this is just kind of reflecting some of that energy, that it's more out of like necessity versus like really allowing yourself to do something that maybe you feel is more aligned with what you want to do. So that's kind of how I would read this 10 of Swords reverse as the, what do I need to know about applying for this job, is that maybe it's asking you to kind of reflect and see, like, is it out of anxiety that you're like just wanting to kind of like change it up because maybe your situation isn't really quite how you thought it was going to be. Now, what will working in this job be like? We have the 5 of Wands. So this is a job that talks about, this is a card that talks about conflict, fighting, arguments, disagreements, struggle, opposition, temper, clashing personalities, chaos, being defensive, territorial kind of energy, assertiveness. So I think that this is maybe, again, when we're kind of going after certain things that it may look good on the surface, and then whenever we're there, we kind of come to the realization of like, oh man, maybe it's not really going to be as good of a job as I would like for it to be, or maybe it's not really going to bring me some kind of mental peace and allow me to kind of not have more anxiety about the work that I'm doing. And unfortunately, that's true for a lot of workplaces. There's just not there's not a lot of workplaces out there that maybe have their shit together enough to be like, hey, it's not going to create chaos, it's not going to be challenging, it's not going to be difficult. So I think it's good to do a spread like this, so then you can kind of have a realization of like, okay, am I leaving a place where maybe I'm not the happiest, but at least there isn't a lot of this like drama and craziness, and even though I may have quote unquote more work or more opportunity at this place, is it going to be rife with a lot of issues and a lot of problems? So with card number 3 is going to be, how capable am I of doing this job? We have the 6 of Pentacles. So yes, yes, you are very capable of doing this job. It is kind of talking about sharing, kindness, control, giving and receiving, gratitude, being valued, being well paid. So this may be a position that is like, hey, your professionalism may not be affected by the situation going on, and there may be an opportunity to kind of like bring some balance into the position if you want to kind of move forward. But the thing with this is that it can be maybe a job that like you're getting tipped very well. It could be a job where, you know, your performance is being rewarded due to, you know, your work ethic and things of that nature. So this could also be a job where maybe you feel like there is a lot more of that financial balancing of, you know, things are kind of coming back into balance in some ways. So definitely take that into consideration, because again, as much as we may not want to think about it, finances are going to be something that a lot of us have to consider. And so even if a workplace doesn't always bring us the best environment, if you're someone that can deal with things of that nature without letting it get into a lot of mental anxiety, it might be something that financially could be very rewarding. So that was how capable am I of doing this job. So it is kind of telling you like, hey, you are very capable. So for card number 4, we have what will be the outcome of me working in this job or role. We have the Magician. So this is a card of creativity, manifesting, action, power, skills, magic, self-employment, a smooth talker, having the gift of the cab, willpower, directing your will, creative visualization, and manifesting your desires. And so I think that this is kind of telling you like, hey, you know, this could be something that potentially brings a lot of personal success for you, whether that is just an experience, that it could be in opportunities, it could be in, you know, just kind of being in the right place at the right time, you know, the connections that you may forge, even if things are kind of competitive, or maybe if we kind of like backtrack a little bit to card number 2, what will working on the job be like, is that maybe it is a job that is very competitive to get into. And so this can kind of say like, but if you get in, it can really open up a lot of different doors for you. It can really give you a lot of opportunity to kind of like do something bigger, and to really move into something that feels more in alignment with the things that like you really truly desire for yourself. Because a lot of us, we work jobs that are, again, out of necessity, not really focusing on a lot of our, you know, kind of like, oh, when I grow up I want to be this or whatever. A lot of us are doing things that, you know, are just meant to allow us to show up and pay the bills, essentially. So card number 5 is to be, how will my life change? Oh, sorry. The outcome of applying for this job. I write down all of the spreads so it's easier for me to remember all of the wording. So what is the outcome of applying for this job? We have death, which can seem like a hard card to kind of receive, but I think that this is kind of talking about transformation, new beginnings. There's a lot of endings, there's transitions, there's release, there's upheaval, there's cleansing, there's stripping away the things that really don't matter, and having a sense of liberation. So I think that, again, if I were to kind of read this for one of my children that's, you know, wanting to find a different job, I would definitely say that there may be a lot of challenges, or there may be a lot of competition to kind of get there. There may be some things that can feel very conflicting. It could be something that could in turn be very good for you in the long run, because it's going to either place you in a position of, you know, being able to, you know, have a lot of opportunities, be where you are, and allow you to really grow into who you're trying to be, as well as, you know, being able to kind of release some of the stories that maybe you've written about how life could be where you've been and what you've already experienced. So I think that this would definitely say it's not going to be the easiest thing to kind of move into a change of position or into a different job, but it will be something that will not only be very rewarding, but will allow you to kind of move out of certain patterns that maybe you felt were kind of holding you back, and be able to kind of move into the next thing. So I hope that this new job tarot spread is something that you want to use in your practice, especially if you're someone that's looking for different employment and maybe don't really know because again, sometimes we'll apply for things and not really question. We're just kind of like, am I going to get it or not? And so we may just focus more on the like, will I get the job or not? Or should I apply for this or not? And I think that this kind of gives you a little bit more of a deeper scope, an opportunity to kind of ask some different questions that maybe we tend to forget while we're in the middle of the shuffle of just trying to find employment. So I want to say thank you so much for joining me. I really hope that you enjoyed this. Let me know if you guys use any kind of like new job spreads or anything like that. Please take care, stay safe, and as always, make good choices. Bye.